Hello and welcome to the Cup of Tri Triathlon podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors oxygenaddict.com and fuelbycake.com. I am joined as always by my wonderful co-host Helen Murray. Helen, how on earth are you today, my dear?
Hello Rob, I'm very excited because the triathlon season is well and truly underway and there's been loads of exciting results and some very exciting news this week for a city in the north of England to do with triathlon. So we're going to come on to that as well. Yeah.
Exciting news. Listen, mate, your voice is just a little bit loud, so I think we need a little bit more distance away from the microphone. We're breaking up a bit here. Breaker, we're breaking up.
Oh dear, okay.
No worries. So we'll be okay. We'll keep on rolling through. Because we are such consummate professionals here on the Cup of Tri, aren't we?
We try.
We do indeed. Right, so let's kick right off with results from this weekend then. What should we go with first? There's so much exciting stuff happening from the world of Cup of Tri.
I know. I think, though, we have to start in Japan because there was the most amazing sprint finish between Javier Gomez and Alistair Brownlee, and Javier Gomez tipped Brownlee on the line. And honestly, if you haven't seen it, go on to our Twitter feed and we will retweet a video of the sprint finish because it is just incredible. Did you see it, Rob?
It's good. I did. I sat and actually watched it the whole way through, which was really good. And I've got to say, well, we're going to do spoilers, aren't we? We've told everyone what's happened, so we're going to spoil it for people anyway. I thought Brownlee had him. I thought he was going to do the same to him again as he'd done either last week. Was it last week, the week before?
Yeah.
When he put that big surge in with a K to go. But he sat and he waited, and then coming round with about 400 to go, he put the move on Gomez and he thought, all right, here we go, it's all over. But Gomez just changed gear and sat on his shoulder, didn't he?
It was utterly amazing because, they both had tried to kick and get away and neither of them could. And so you were thinking, this is going to come down to the blue carpet. And it really did. And Gomez just had that tiny bit extra at the end. But I had read somewhere that Brownlee hadn't been feeling great before it. And he said that he said it was the worst he's ever felt in a race.
Yeah. He looked not himself on the bike.
No.
It's not like him to sit at the back of the pack, and it looked like he just genuinely wasn't feeling it. And even the commentators from the BBC were commenting on that and saying how it's not usual for him to be sitting at the back and not bossing everybody around. But I wouldn't say it looked like he was hanging on because he did look fairly comfortable sitting in the pack on the bike, didn't he? But he just didn't seem to have that spark he usually has at the end of the race. So that would explain it if he's not well.
Exactly. But if he can still do that when he's not feeling 100%, it just shows how incredible he is. So Gomez won, Brownlee came second, Mario Mola came third, and then for one of our former Cup of Tri interviewees, Mark Buckingham, what a result for him. He came in fourth.
That was awesome for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was actually the thing I was most excited about all the way through the race because you could see him. He was really smart. He stayed in the pack. The pack all came together on the bike, and then just as they came around the corner before they got off in T2, I thought to myself, oh, there's a couple of other Great Britain tri kits there, with the great big Union Jacks on the sides. Is that Bucko? Is it? And he was off the bike really, really sharp. He was probably in, I don't know, between third and fifth place off the bike coming around that final corner. So he was really smart. He had a really clever tactical ride towards the end there. And we've always said he's got the pedigree as a runner to really get up there with the guys. And the race went off, didn't it? There was they were all together for a while.
Yeah,
and
just one long train, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the big boys put a surge in and 5 of them went away. I think Riedero went away with Mola, Brownlee and Gomez. And all of a sudden there was Mark on his own leading the second pack. And you were like, well, this is awesome. If he can hold his own pace here, fantastic running from him. It
was absolutely fantastic. The whole race, it's just such a spectacle. And for him to finish fourth is brilliant. And you have said for ages, if he can be there, come the run, he's got a chance. So well done, Mark Buckingham, this week. Yeah. And Non Stanford as well. We should mention Non. She came in 7th in the women's race in her first race since becoming world champion. So again, she's had a really tough time with injury. She got a penalty for not putting her wetsuit
Did she?
Yeah, she got a 15-second penalty for not putting her wetsuit back in the box.
Oh, breaks your heart.
Which is the same penalty that she got in the grand final 2 years ago in London. So
Come on, Don, sort it out. Start picking your knickers up off the floor of the bedroom and practice. Get it in the laundry basket. We've also got to give a shout out to Adam Bowden in 7th in the men's race, because another breakthrough race for him as well. Again, he was running alongside Mark Buckingham at the start of the men's race and just tailed off the pace a little bit, but he was only sort of 15 seconds behind Mark at the end. And to take 7th in a race of that standard is a great breakthrough race for him as well. So, I mean, so all of a sudden, I don't know what's going to happen here, Hells. It's a real tough call, because you've got guys who... Say again?
For Rio, you mean?
For Rio,
yeah.
It's a real tough call for these guys, because all of a sudden we've got the two Brownlees who, if they get there injury free and in shape, as good as the British triathlon selectors have said, we're going to take a domestique to serve them. But then we've also got these real quality athletes who are finishing in the top, in Mark's case, top 4, and certainly in the top 10 in ITU races, and are going to be thinking, well, we want to go as well and challenge for a medal.
Yep, and that's it. And that's why it's so interesting, and that's why all these races this season, for them, are absolutely vital. Really important.
It's do or die, isn't it? It's a really exciting series, because there's no sort of nothing set in stone, and we really want to see. I would love to see Mark Buckingham make it. I'm super biased, obviously, but I'd love to see him make the start line of the Olympics after switching sports and running. That'd be brilliant. So if you're listening, Mark, good on you, mate. We're very, very proud of you. I was sitting there jumping up and down and shouting at the telly, and Xander was sitting next to me and he was going, "Is that your friend, Daddy? Is that your friend Mark?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's him." He's going, "Come on, Mark." So a bit of cheerleading from Wilby Jr.
Well, I should say, again, if you haven't heard the Mark Buckingham interview that we did a couple of months ago now, get on it. Go back onto oxygenaddict.com, onto the podcast, Cup of Tri, and look for the Mark Buckingham interview, because it was a really interesting talk, interesting to hear and just how he's made that switch from running to triathlon, all the bike work he did, and all of the time that he spent in the pool, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good one to listen to, definitely.
Yeah, man. I suppose we should really give a mention to old Gwen Jorgensen as well, shouldn't we? We should give her a shout out for winning 9.
Sorry, yeah.
It's almost become a kind of, Gwen's there and she's won another one. But again, coming off the bike, massive pack together, everyone was running along 10 wide, and all of a sudden Gwen sort of lazily stretched her arms.
Goes off like a gazelle.
Yeah, it was such an impressive display of running. So come on, Brit girls, we need you to get your form back, and we need you to take it to Gwen, because we can't have her having an easy run of it all season.
Rob, I think they will time it to perfection. Our British
maybe
girls.
The pressure's going to get to. Maybe it's their plan. The pressure might get to Gwen Jorgensen.
I think they are not completely fully fit at the moment. But as long as they can peak at the right time, which I think they will do, it'll be fine. I'm confident. Definitely confident.
Absolutely.
Now, shall we switch to Texas?
Let's go to Texas, boy.
Because, wow, what a performance from Joe Skipper. Incredible.
Joe Skipper, the legend. I tell you what, I bet there weren't many people thinking that Joe's had the big talk the whole year through. I'm going to go to America and I'm going to smash the Yanks, is basically what he's been saying. I'm going to go over there and people haven't heard of me, and I'm really, really got the bit between my teeth. And I bet there weren't many people who really thought he had a shot of going in and placing in the top 10 at Texas. So for those of you who haven't seen the result, Joe came out the swim. I think he was 6 or 7 minutes down on the leaders out of the swim, and he then just destroyed everybody on the bike in what has got to be, and I'm not just saying this because he's a mate of ours on the show, a world-class piece of riding.
Oh, definitely. The only person who's probably gone faster in an Ironman bike leg would be Andrew.
Starbucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did. So Joe did at Ironman Texas this weekend. He rode a 4:10 bike split.
That is absolutely mind-blowing. And up until last year when Starkowitz did that 4:04 on the Florida course, I don't think anybody had been under, I think 4:16 or 4:17 was the bike course record set at Roth, which is renowned for being a fast course in inverted commas, and in brackets I think we read 174 kilometres for that. So a legitimate 4:10 from Joe Skipper. That is absolutely massive for him and for his his beginning of his next step of his pro career, because he's once and for all totally on the map now, isn't he?
Definitely, and it was quite interesting actually. I was following on Twitter, as I think quite a few people were, and even like Julie Dibbons at one point wrote Skipworth. So she was perhaps thinking it was Todd Skipworth, not Joe Skipper, who was in second place at that point on the bike. So yeah, I think he will have surprised many people over there, just suddenly, who's this new kid on the block? But he has been working his backside off, so it's really, really thoroughly deserved. And he's been out there for a month, hasn't he, getting to know the course. And he said as well that had he not done that, so I think he's won about 15 grand, that he would be lining up at the job centre this week, which you can genuinely believe.
Yeah. It is an absolutely fantastic rags to riches story, isn't it? It's like all or nothing. Everything's on this race. I have to perform. There is no plan B. I'm going to get out there and absolutely do it. So the race panned out. He did 4:10 on the bike, and at that point, I don't think there could have been, honestly, a person in the world thinking Joe hasn't overcooked it here. But he went on, and fair play to him, he's put a 3:04 run together, which is not a chump change. Now, Joe's usually a 2:40s runner, isn't he? He's run 2:45, 2:46 a couple of times. It took a 2:45 to catch and beat him at IMTX, and he said the heat and humidity was just like nothing he'd ever experienced before in his life. But I tell you what, if he can get himself an invite to one of the big races in Europe, where the climate is a little bit more suited to him, I'd love to see him race Roth. I know that's not his plan this year. I know his plan is to go and win Ironman UK. But wouldn't it be awesome to see him turn that bike power on at Roth?
Yeah.
A super duper fast course.
Roth or Austria, somewhere like that.
Yeah,
and get such incredible support. That would be absolutely awesome. And with his performance in Texas, he's got a decent amount of points now for Kona if he wants to go. So
it's a championship race, isn't it? It was a North American championship, so it was not a small race. It's a really big win for this, and people over at Slow Twitch, which is the massive major US news in triathlon website, are just going, that was the most amazing piece of riding we've ever seen in our lives. And for them to be saying that, it really, he's really made some waves over there. And they've been interviewing him and trying to get some news about him over there, because obviously he's come from absolutely nowhere from their point of view. And let's not forget, Andreas Raelert was in this race.
Yeah, Faris was in the race. He's now, by the way, he's now announced he's retiring. Little pudding.
Joe, you have retired Faris Al Sultan. He took down Ben Hoffman.
Yep.
So, I mean, man, well done. That's just so excited for him. Absolutely brilliant.
We should actually give the top three of Texas in the men's race. Have you got them in front of you, Rob?
Do you know, I'm just faffing around here now. I've got the Ironman Texas images, and I can't find that race.
Well, I will tell you the top three women, because we had two women in that top three on the podium. So the race was won by Angela Neath, and then Leander Cave came in second, and there was a third place for Rachel Joyce. So fantastic racing all round from our British athletes.
We also had Corinne Abraham in fifth as well.
Yeah, she did I think she did the fastest bike split there as well.
Yeah, so again, amazing strength and depth in the ladies' side there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see Joycey come through there as well. We weren't sure about whether she was ill or the state of her form after that 70.3 the other week, but it does look like she was tapering down, and again another big result for her there.
That's it. She is Mrs. Consistency is Rachel Joyce. Yeah, you can always guarantee a solid performance from her. So fantastic work to get third on the podium in Texas. Brilliant.
Do you think there's part of Rachel and Leander and people like that? Do you think there's part of it where in the back of the mind they're thinking, we've really just got to validate and then go to Kona. The year's about Kona rather than about trying to win. I don't want to play down Texas at all, because obviously it's a big race, but for them, the money's all on Kona, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where they want to be.
Yeah, and they want to get on that start line in the best position possible. So, in a way, there is no point in being at your best. In their mind, they will think there's no point in being at your best at this precise moment in time, because actually I need to be fit and healthy and peaking for Kona or Roth, or, having to peak twice. But, yeah, I think it's part of the build-up for Joycey, for Leander Cave, definitely.
Yeah, and Queen Abraham's going to have done herself a lot of favours as well in terms of points there, because it's a big points race, this one, so a good stack for her if she's looking to go to Kona in the future.
Well, yeah, because she struggled last year with Kona points. Didn't she have to pull out at the very last minute? So she would have struggled this year. She'll be starting again, sort of from scratch, so to speak. She's got a little bit of catching up to do, but I think she'll be on her way now.
Good stuff. And that podium for the men's race that you're after, Matt Hansen took it out in 8:07, Joe Skipper in second in 8:16, Ronnie Schildknecht in 8:21, and then further down the field we had Ben Hoffman in 8:33. So some good athletes there that Joe's taken down. And like you say, Faris, big scalp, even at the end of his career, that's got to go down as a taking down a former world champion. Yeah, good stuff. So excited.
I know. And Joe, if you are listening, someone needs to fill Faris's Speedo look.
There you go. The gauntlet has been thrown down by Helen Murray, Joe. Forget that Endura skin suit. You need Endura to make you a little
Speedo suit.
Helen, you need to calm down with those hormones there. Joe's a young man. He doesn't need to be lusted after. Joe, we do apologise for the sexual harassment, but it's what the great British ladies want to see, mate.
Anyway, moving on. Let's go back to Snowdonia. I would not be wearing Speedos in Snowdonia, I tell you that. I don't think many people would be.
The trip to Slate Man. It looks like the magic Slate Man thermometer didn't unfortunately quite come through for the organisers this weekend. The swim was cut short. Which, and I'm gonna lay it out there. I've raced Slate Man a couple of times when I've been convinced that the thermometer has been stuck on 12.1 degrees and the water's been closer to 2.1 degrees. So, golly only knows how cold it's got to be for them to cut the swim short. It was cut down from 1 kilometre for the main race down to 500 metres. And it looks like they got the money's worth as well. It wasn't a short of 500 either. But second win on the row in the men's race for Ewan Brown. He took out in 2:16, taking down Lewis Eccleston and Alex Foster. And the results in the ladies' race, we had Susie Richards also retaining her title over Natalie Seymour, who pushed her all the way to the line. So well done. And
Rob, in third place in the women's was Ruth Purbrook, right? Now, the day before, she had done the sprint. So... And she had won the sprint.
Fair play.
Yes. Awesome, isn't it?
Oh, I've got to tell you what, I wouldn't fancy doing the full Slate Man the day after doing the sprint Slate Man.
No, so to get 2 podiums in 2 days, excellent work there by Ruth. And for Susie and Ewan as well to retain their titles is fantastic, because we know that course is not easy at all. It's a fantastic race, but my goodness, it is tough on your legs. So really, really well done to both of them. And you know that Slateman do this series that if you're the overall winner, so they have Slateman, Sandman, and then Snowman in October. So if you love a bit of cold, get yourself entered. And then the overall winner wins a place at the Nevis Triathlon in the Caribbean. So it's a decent prize. So Ewan and Susie both went off to the Caribbean last year, so they'll be looking to do the same this year.
It's almost like from the ridiculous to the sublime, that, isn't it? You're racing the coldest races in the UK and win one of the hottest, most humid races in the world. If you've not raced Slate Man, you need to get yourself down on your to-do list of UK races, because it's the most stunning scenery. You've got to be prepared for the cold water on the swim, but boy, that bike course and run course more than make up for it. The run course goes up through the slate quarries there on an almost seemingly endless series of zigzags, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Just stunning through the forests, and yeah, it should be on the TV later in the year. So good stuff there. And one other race up here that we're going to give a shout out to was meant to be my return to racing, the Wilmslow Triathlon.
Yeah, what happened, Rob? I came down. I was there at the finish line, just made it back in time.
Did you really?
Yeah. There was no Rob Wilby coming through.
No.
What happened?
Sick. I got ill, mate. I just wasn't well, and I thought to myself, I was feeling really rotten all day Saturday, and you know how you go through that kind of, shall I go, shall I not go, shall I go, oh, I'm going to go back to bed for an hour, and I decided in the end it just wasn't worth making myself sick for a week just for the sake of getting a race in. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'd have troubled the top 50 anyway. But we had wins there in the men's race for Simon Parker. He took it out in 1:07, which is a very decent time on that course. Matt Stevenson in second, who's in the 45 to 49 category, and Phil Ellison in third. And my categories, I can't find the ladies anywhere in the results. Here we go. Lucy Scott.
Yeah.
Took out the overall win.
She did. She won. She won. And I was there at the finish line to watch her come across. So she was really, really happy. And she had a few bike mechanicals and was racing on her mum's bike, which is not a TT bike. So honestly, well done, Lucy, with that one. Really fantastic result.
Good. Yeah, so she's only 17. Well done, Lucy. Catherine Bancroft in second place. Not a lot in it. Only 20 seconds by the look of things. And then in third place for the ladies, Rebecca Brand from Manchester Tri Club.
And she finished on the podium last year.
Yeah, good stuff. There we go. So again, Northwest, great race, Wilmslow, really good season opener, and it's also a really good season finisher as well. We have another race on the same course there in September. So who knows, Helen? Maybe if I manage to pull my finger out.
Come on, get on it.
Try and make a return there. Yeah.
Do it.
I need to go and do some running. That's my plan for the rest of the year. I'm so busy. I just don't think I can fit triathlon training in at the moment, mate. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a return to running for the rest of the year.
Well, I think that sounds like a good plan because, yeah, definitely. You were at track the other day, whizzing off in front of everyone. So, yeah, do the running. At least with running, there's no...
Look what good it did.
Well, exactly. At least with running, there's a lot less fuss. You know, you can just stick your trainers on, get out the door. Yeah. So, yeah, go for it. Do it.
Yeah, try and get a little bit of running done. Right then, 5K, couple of weeks' time. We'll put a mark on the board.
You're away next week, aren't you? You're on holiday.
I am.
Yeah, I've entered a race knowing that you're not around, so it's fine. It's a 1.2 mile run up a hill. Up Blaze Hill.
I saw the profile for this that you put up on Twitter. Now, tell me the story. What's going on here?
Well, so... Blaze Hill is a hill which goes near Macclesfield, so it's on the edge of the Peak District, and it's quite a steep hill to cycle up, and it leaves a village called Bollington, and it is about 1.2 miles, and at the very top you are really on the edge of the Peak District. So we were cycling up there the other day, saw these signs saying Blaze Hill Glory Run. I was thinking, oh, what's this? Road closed next week. So came back, had a Google. Yes, indeed, there is a run up the hill. So looked into it.
It's a steep hill as well.
It is a steep hill, so it starts off, there's bits up to 25% incline for about the beginning. I'd say let's split the hill into thirds. So the beginning third is very steep. Then it flattens out, and then the final third again there's another kick and it goes uphill. So there'll be a little bit of recovery in the middle before up again. So yeah, it's £6 to enter. Thought why not?
Fun for all the family. 10 minutes of above VO2 max level work. There'll be some people being sick at the end of that with lactic acid, I tell you now.
Yep. Hey, it's unique. It's unique. I just thought you only live once.
Yeah. Well, you only live once, why not spend some of the time throwing up?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way.
Now, Rob, talking of throwing up, I have a question for you for Coach's Couch this week, okay?
Yeah, go on.
And probably quite suitable because you've been ill at the time. How should you manage training when you're feeling ill?
Yeah, so There's something that's come up quite a lot this week for me. Quite a few of the guys that I coach have been ill, and have been, the temptation is I must carry on training at all costs. And every single day, I mean, we all know what it's like. Every single day when you're ill and you can't train is just a massive weight on your mind if you're going to let yourself get set up like that. My advice has always been, and although I find it extremely difficult to follow myself, I'm lucky that I was always coached by my dad, and I would always refer to him on this one, and he would just say, look, you can't do anything about it. The best thing you can do in the long term is get yourself well again and then start training when you are well. So my advice for people who are sick has always been, you've just got to rest up through it. And usually my advice is also then, when you're feeling well again, take one extra rest day before you start doing anything, and then start really, really super easy. There are a few things you can do when you are ill to try and sort of get yourself through it. And that's just common sense stuff, isn't it, really? You've got to hit the vitamin tablets, you've got to have the honey and the hot lemon, all that sort of good stuff. But the biggest thing you can give your body is rest. Get to bed an hour earlier, try and rest up during the day, try and remove any other forms of stress you can. Do you know, one of the biggest things I see with athletes I coach is that they're really unwilling to take time off work when they're not well. And, I mean, you'll relate to this, Helen, right?
Yeah, definitely. The first time I ever had a day off was last December. Before that, I had never taken a day off, even feeling rubbish. And so I think I ended up having 3 days off because I just felt so horrendous. And it was, it was great. Yeah. I'm a convert.
Yeah, there's no question that you bounce back faster if you don't have to go to work and kind of struggle on through. And the reality is that a lot of triathletes, and I'm not going to say most, but we're probably into the high 90%, are of the extremely driven type A obsessive personality that all the time they need to be focusing on the goal and going forwards. And actually, we're our own worst enemy a lot of the time when we're sick, because the only thing we can do in order to get fit again fast is to get well again quickly, and that's not going to happen if we're trying to do any kind of training. So you need to take that time off training, and a lot of employers won't thank me for saying this, but I think if you consider yourself too sick to train, you should really consider whether you're too sick to go to work as well. If you're in the kind of job that covers you with sick pay insurance, give it some serious thought, because that one day off sick can give you, a massively accelerated recovery where you can then get back to work and get back to training much, much faster.
And your colleagues will be glad as well, because you were less likely to pass any germs onto them.
You might relate to this in your job as well. Working as a teacher over the last few years, there's nothing worse than that person who comes in, who's really sick, and who's come in to prove how sick they are. I'm going to soldier on through. I'm so brave. I'm going to cough all over everyone at the lunchtime office table and spread the germs everywhere. Just do everyone a favour and have the day off, man. Because you're pretty much useless to everyone anyway.
Yep.
Oh, just cover my class for me. I'm feeling really ill. Well, stay at home and we can get a supply teacher in there.
So basically, rest up and don't be afraid of it, and then you'll come back stronger again.
That's it. I'm going to give a shout out to those dissolvable multivitamins. Have you ever tried Barocca?
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Do you not? Well, it's not about liking it, is it? It's about getting well.
It's about taking it, isn't it?
So, yeah. Don't buy Barocca because it's too expensive. Go to Tesco's and get the 80p version and have some of those. Bang a couple of those down a day. And my experience has been it really does help. Those extra vitamin C and B tablets at the time can really help bring you round. So there we go. Coach's Couch on sickness in a nutshell. It's not rocket science, mate, is it?
No, really not. So, Rob, we're moving on to some triathlon news now.
Come on, Helen, you've tweeted me, you've teased me. Tell me all about what's happening in Leeds next year.
Well, the ITU World Triathlon Series has been confirmed that it is going to be heading to Leeds next.
Confirmed?
Yep, confirmed.
Confirmed.
Next summer.
Get in. That's awesome.
Dates are TBC.
Okay.
So we should find out after the race in London, which is the 31st of May. So we'll find out after that. But yeah, Leeds is going to be hosting one of the rounds of the World Triathlon Series next year, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's going to...
What's it going to be? Is it going to be Roundhay Park?
Yeah, it starts in Roundhay Park, 1,500 metre swim, and then it's going to finish in the city centre. Yes, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, pretty much the hardcore group of our Olympic triathletes are all based up in Leeds. So the likes of the Brownies, Mark Buckingham, Non Stanford, Vicky Holland, loads of others.
Phil Graves.
Yep, they're all up there. So for them, essentially having a race on their doorstep.
That's how powerful the Brownies have got. They've gone, do you know what? We're not even leaving our house. We want to sleep in our own beds that night. Bring the race to us.
They will, won't they? That'll be a unique experience for them. They won't have to stay in a hotel or anything.
Hotel, you stay in your own bed.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Isn't it great? So, yeah.
Right, well, we'll plan our trip over there for next year. As soon as it's confirmed, we'll have a cup of try trip over there.
Yes.
Well, that could be really fun, actually. We could get T-shirts made and banners and all kinds of stuff, couldn't we?
Yeah, on it. Let's do that. Right, so when the date's confirmed, we're doing that. The other news out is that Challenge Oman has been cancelled, Rob. You know, it's part of the Triple Crown series, but because of sort of political goings-on in nearby Yemen, they've actually cancelled it. So they're going to have to reschedule a race somewhere to do the challenge.
It's an interesting one because there's $1 million on the line there, isn't there?
Yep.
They've announced $1 million if someone wins all 3 of them, and all of a sudden there might only be 2 of them, and then I'll tell you what, if you're the winner of the first one, it was Terenzo and
Daniela Riff.
Daniela Riff. They've got to be sitting there rubbing their hands and thinking, hello.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So we will await news on that one, definitely. And then there was one other piece of news about Ironman University. What?
Ironman University. You're not a big fan of this, are you? I can hear it in your voice. Go
on, fill me in, because I don't think I am. No.
Right, so basically, Ironman have announced, and I am of the opinion that they've done some research in the background for this. I'm not of the opinion they're a great big evil corporation. I'm thinking they've looked at it and they've thought the majority of the athletes who are doing our races have got a coach. People are looking for coaches. I'm sure it's partly a financial decision and they're thinking, well, we can take a cut of some of the money that coaches are making. But I'm of the opinion, and I know loads of people have slated this on social media and on all the forums and stuff. Everyone said, oh, you know, the money grabbing so-and-sos, and the basic plan is that they are going to run a certification course for triathlon coaches that says they're doing like an online study thing. It's 14 hours of study, and at the end of it, people will get a certification to say that they've studied this Ironman coaching. They've called it university, which is a bit, you know.
It's not Harvard, is it? Or Yale? Or Oxford?
It's not Harvard, no. I mean, yeah, they've called it that, and you can lay that criticism at anybody's door. It's a little bit of internet marketing, I think. And lots of people have come out and said 16 hours of study does not make you a coach, which I think is a very valid point. That's my first take on it. If someone's never done any coaching before and they go and take this award, is it going to mean that they are then in an ideal position to guide people through what's going to be the biggest, you know, fitness challenge of their lives? Probably not. However, there's another side to it that people aren't talking about, which is that a lot of coaching qualifications in triathlon don't cover long distance coaching. They're not set up for it. And the coaching team that they've put together at Ironman appears to be a lot of very good experienced coaches. So we're talking the standard of Dave Scott and Mark Allen as a couple of them. And you can't really argue with that, because between the two of them, they've got some serious background in coaching Ironman athletes. So that's my thoughts on it. I think if there are already people out there who are coaching, who have got lots of coaching experience, and they do this as kind of an add-on, my best guess is what Ironman are going to start doing is like a coaching licensing thing, where coaches can sign up and athletes can sign up, and there'll be a kind of coach match thing that goes on. And to be honest, I'm all in favour of that. If they've got a rigorous system in place where they're vetting the coaches that are working for them, then great.
Do you think, that's the thing, will they even vet them though? And actually, as a coach yourself and someone who has a sports science degree behind you, and you've been in the business for, goodness, sorry Rob, I don't know, sort of 20 odd years?
Yeah, something like that.
18, I think.
Do
you not find it a little bit insulting?
Do you know what? You can take that point of view, I suppose, and I totally understand it. But what we've got to remember is at the moment there is, and I've got to be careful what I say here because this could be a bit contentious. There's already a lot of people out there using the term coach and charging people for their services, training them for Ironman, who have got no coaching qualifications whatsoever. Mm. And that, I think, is the real issue. There are people out there who are charging serious chunks of money, more than I charge in some instances, and they haven't got any coaching qualifications whatsoever. And they might very well be extremely good coaches. They might very well have a lot of experience, but the bottom line is they don't have anything to back that up, and in a lot of instances they don't have any insurance to back that up. So the thing that's always been frustrating for me has been people who operate outside of any kind of system, and if you're being coached by someone who hasn't got any insurance for it, then all of a sudden that that opens people up to a massive kind of legal problem if anything happens, and God forbid someone has a problem during the time they're being coached or trained by somebody. So I think you've got to look at it and you've got to think is it going to be a positive thing? Well, it probably is. There's probably going to be more people getting some kind of certification in the long run. There's going to be more people getting a coach in the long run. I don't know whether 14 hours is enough that you can sort of say you are an expert coach, but it's certainly better than nothing. I know that the British Triathlon qualifications are much more rigorous than that. The level 1 course is it's a 3-day course that involves pretty rigorous study, face-to-face study, and it involves people being watched in face-to-face, what I consider to be coaching. And I think that's where the difference is, isn't it? It's whether you consider writing a training program down and sending it to somebody via email to be coaching, or whether it's not. And I think British Triathlon's coaching program is really rigorous in that they've got experienced coaches there standing on the poolside saying, do you know what, I don't think you're quite at the standard yet where I'd be happy with you coming down to a club. I'm going to defer you. You can come back, you can practice. We'll reassess you in 6 months' time. And are we really going to have that in an online-only program?
No, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a difference between coaching people and writing a training plan for people, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. And that is a very, I think it's an interesting talking point. And I guess once it actually gets underway, then we'll be able to discuss it further down the line. Yeah.
See how they go.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Rob, we forgot to mention another race. It was Barcelona 70.3 this weekend. And
it was?
Yeah, in the women's race, Lucy Gossage came in second and Paris Edwards came in third. It was won by Camilla Pedersen again.
Oh, another one for Camilla. What happened in the men's race? Have you got the men's results
I haven't got it in front of me. I can't.
Passed me by that one, I've got to say. I know Warren was racing there and he managed to snag a slot, so he'll be racing alongside you at the World Champs. So well done, Warren Mason. I believe he took 4th place in his age group.
Amazing.
So you and him, mate, you can be busy mates out there at the World Champs.
Fantastic. No, but really, really well done to both Lucy and Paris on that one.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, so listen, that's all the time we have for this week, isn't it? We're going to tie it up here. We've got no interview for you this week, I'm afraid. The next couple of weeks are going to be slightly different. We've pre-recorded interviews for you for the next 2 weeks while I'm away, so there'll be a podcast hopefully going out. I'm going to try and automate the software, Helen, so it goes out for us on a schedule. So if it appears, fantastic. I'm a computer genius, and if it doesn't, I'm a computer idiot. So fingers crossed that they're going to pop up there. Helen will tweet if they come out. And if they don't, Helen, I expect nothing but abuse off you on Twitter, please.
Fine. Good deal. Well, have a great holiday, and we will be back properly in a couple of weeks' time. But in the meantime, listen out and look out for the interviews over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so next week we've got an interview with Dr. Will Manga, who is explaining to us all about blood testing and blood profiling, and a system that's available now for age group athletes to have their bloods tested. And his company is called Endurance. And then the week after, we've got an interview with the wonderful Lucy Gossage.
Fantastic.
So it's good that she's just had a great result on the board there as well.
Brilliant. Well, I think that is about it. So I've been Helen Murray.
I've been Rob Wilby.
And this is the Cup of Triathlon podcast.
Fantastic. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Bye.